feels like a Tuesday, though, because we had a long holiday weekend. Don't you love it when it's Sunday night on a 3-day weekend and you realize you got tomorrow off, too? Isn't that great? It's a great feeling. It's the Daily Boost from MotivationToMove.com. Since 2006, we've been cranking them out, basically doing what no other motivationally or self-helpy or personal developing podcast has the, as my friend Nina would say, chutzpah to do, or the balls, whatever you want to say, from the street or from the back hills of Kentucky. It doesn't really matter. However you want to say it. Happens. And that is essentially this, is that sometimes life sucks. Sometimes people are bad. Sometimes the things that you want, you don't get. Sometimes you're up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you're crying in your beer and wondering how the heck you're going to get over the next hurdle to get what you want. I mean, it's so simple, right? I should be able to do this. I want to do it. And people say I can, and you can. Why am I not getting there? Well, it's because just motivation and just thinking positive never works. It works to sell product. It works to get people to feel like they can. But ultimately, the only thing that will ever work is when you look at life the way it is and say, all right, that's how it is. And you accept responsibility for yourself and say, okay, I guess I got to do it. And you learn the skills and you stand up and you put your big girl or your big boy pants on. You say, let's go. And you go make it happen. And it's really painful sometimes. And yet you get what you want. By the way, if you don't do it, it's even more painful and you don't get what you want. I love those kind of people who stand up and take a step and repeat, which is what we've said for years. My name is Scott Smith, founder and the Chief Motivating Officer here at MotivationToMove.com. Glad to have you. A little bit different podcast today because there is no freaking podcast today. No, this is it. See, it's an announcement today. It's an announcement that I did not plan on making. Because I woke up at 6:45 this morning. I just popped open. I went, I didn't record my podcast for today. Oh, no. And I closed my eyes and went back to sleep. Got up about an hour later, had some coffee, took a shower, saw my wife, played with the dog, came in here, answered some emails, and went, I guess I ought to record my podcast. Then I went, oh, man. It's the second time it's happened in 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, I was at the beach on a Sunday, and my wife said, don't you have to record your podcast for tomorrow? We should go home. And I said, it can wait. What I was really saying is, they can wait. You can wait. It can wait. And I enjoyed my day, got up Monday morning, recorded the podcast, put it. I had a couple emails saying, Scott, you okay? Thanks for asking, by the way. Yeah, I was okay. I was just being obstinate, that's all. Never done that before. In 8,000 programs, never had done that before. A couple weeks back, I made an announcement that I was considering retiring this program at the end of this year, which would be our 10th year, 10 complete seasons of the Daily Boost. I thought I would retire it. And I told you I hadn't made a decision. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I had some people send me some emails saying, please, Scott, don't. We love you. Thanks for that. That's what keeps me going every day. But I also had more emails that said, Scott, is there a place on your website where you keep your 10 years worth of archives so I can download them before you leave? I had lots of emails asking for that. Oh, man. So I don't want to stop this podcast. And yet, frustration grows. And I've taught you long for a long time. I've said, when you're frustrated, when things are not right, eventually it's going to change anyway. So if you can predict that, you may as well go ahead and cut to the chase, get it done, and don't go through the pain. If you're in a bad relationship and you're being abused, why would you get beat up for another 6 months? Just end it today. Go through the pain, rip the Band-Aid off, right? If you're going to go bankrupt, why would you keep fighting the bill collectors for 6 months? Why would you not just go ahead and do it and get it done? Why wouldn't you do that? Well, sometimes emotions are involved. Sometimes commitment's involved. Sometimes you just want to be a nice person. Sometimes it just takes time to make sure you're sure, right? And that's what was happening to me because I really want to do this podcast forever. But to be honest with you, I've gotten very frustrated by it over the past few months. And a lot of you guys that have been with me for years have felt that. And you've literally sent me emails saying that. A lot of my longtime clients have said, Scott, just go back to doing what you used to do. Well, for about 6 or 8 months, I've actually been working on a side project to do just that. I wasn't doing it purposely. It was like every time I had some free time, I would work with my guys and I'd say, hey, let's do this. Let's see if we can put this in place. Well, about a month ago, I got it put in place and it's just been sitting there. See, a year and a half ago, I made a decision. I made a decision to do what everybody told me not to do. I was one of the first podcasts that was paid for from the very beginning. We were the first, me and J.B. Glossinger. We were competitors. We duked it out. And yet kind of doing the same thing, building a personal development system and a podcast and charging for it. And we both took a lot of heat back in the day. And then I was listening to JB a couple of weeks back, and he's not on iTunes anymore. And he said the same things that I had heard, and that was that, the audience has changed. The expectation of free is everywhere. people don't believe in putting skin in the game anymore. And honestly, I think the last 8 years of what's been going on in politics around the world, not just here, has really changed that, made that happen. But I also can sense a change in it. Because what happens is eventually people that are producing the free get tired of doing it. And we start to turn our allegiance to the people who are willing to do something for themselves and put some skin in the game. Because honestly, we just get to the point where we feel like we're being abused. And if you saw the number of emails I get every single day, just technical stuff, hundreds of emails that we have to deal with every single day, and yet nobody pays us to do that. Nobody does. I just got more and more frustrated. I'm not trying to be mean or mad about it. I'm not mad anymore. In fact, I'm sad. I'm sad because I made a decision to walk away from a $250,000 income a year and a half ago, and everybody said I shouldn't do it. I said, I think I can make it work, and I have. I've actually made money. However, I've had to expand into different projects. I've had to work 10 times as hard, and I've violated the number one rule that Scott lives by. You should always get paid for your work. You shouldn't have to work and then get paid. I know it. I teach it. I live by it. But I thought maybe, possibly, I might be able to do some greater good. And I've just grown tired of it, to be honest with you. So I made a decision that as of today, we won't do it today, but I'm going back to a paid podcast, a premium podcast. Some of my longtime listeners who have been supporting me for so many years are going to go, woohoo! Thank God we get the old Scott back. And I can't wait, man. I cannot wait to get back to the point where I can just be with you and work with you and communicate in the way I used to instead of having to push it hard. I just get tired of it. I cannot wait to come back into our own little comfortable world. And we're not going to do the full membership side. But we'll have some of that stuff going on. But it's going to be a lot simpler. But it's going to be commercial free, and it's not going to have me having to. It's going to be you and I trying to just get through the world and making our lives better. And I cannot wait to be there for you. And I feel kind of sad now about walking away because I know there's so many people in the world. I'm going to get tons of emails that are going to say, Scott, I just can't afford to pay. I get it. But I'm also going to say this, that until you can afford to pay and invest someplace for your personal development, it's not going to work for you. Until you put some skin in the game, until you decide to sit down and do the work, until you decide to reward. I bought my way into more relationships than I could ever tell you. I can't tell you how many tens of thousands of dollars I've handed over to people because I wanted to get in their inner circle, because they weren't going to, first off, they weren't going to take me seriously until I gave them money. And secondly, I didn't take myself seriously until there was enough pain to do it. I'm not charging you 10 grand, by the way, so just so you know. But it's just part of the game. If you don't believe that, then you are not my tribe. You're just not. And I'm not going to try to talk to you anymore. When you sit on the fence, you get splinters in your ass. And I've been sitting on my fence for about a year now. And so I put my infrastructure in place. I've decided to go back to paid. I will tell you one thing I am going to do, because I really love doing the podcast. And I love the fact that I can really have impact on folks who maybe can't afford it. The only thing that I can do is continue to do Monday free on iTunes. I'm going to do that. We've always done that. I'm going to continue to do that. And yes, it's going to be commercially sponsored. We have sponsors who will take that show. It's my most popular show of the week. It's the one most people can use. If I really didn't mean well, I'd just do a Friday show for you, because nobody will listen anyway. They never do. But everybody listens to Mondays. So I'm going to give my best content on a Monday, sponsor supported. And we're just going to kind of squeeze it down. So my sponsors will pay for an audience, and basically they're paying for people who maybe don't have the money right now to be part of this program. So I feel good about doing that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that probably forever. I'll say probably because nothing is forever really, but I think that's what I'm going to do. When are we going to do this? Oh, by the way, for the people who become part of Daily Boost Premium, it is commercial free. No commercials. Yeah, we'll talk about what we're doing, what I'm doing, things you can get involved with me, but I'm not going to beat you over the head with commercials and stuff. I'm done with that. I'm just done. If you pay, you're not going to have to get that. It's like going to Hulu. You pay $11 a month and Hulu doesn't give you commercials. That's what we're going to be. It is Hulu and Netflix. That's what we're going to be. If you are not paying, if you're watching or listening to the free version, you're going to get a commercial. And by the way, if you do become part of Daily Boost Premium, and I hope you will, you won't hear a commercial on a Monday either. It's going to be a separate show for you. So commercial free 5 days a week. You're going to love that. So when is it going to happen? Well, it's going to happen in the month of June. Again, this thing it's been thinking about it for a long time. I just decided to do it today. Decided to take this podcast to tell you I'm going to do it. And we'll work out the details. But it will, by the end of June, probably well before that, will be a totally paid podcast. And one last thing, I will tell you that I will, I'm going to make sure that I give those who want to support me and say, Scott, you're doing the right thing here. I want to give you a reward for that. And so I'm going to offer a 50% discount. I don't even know what I'm charging it, by the way. That's how transparent I'm being here. But it's going to be a charter discount. It's going to be, hey, we're shifting back. If you are willing to jump in and say, we support you on this, I'm going to make it really, really worth your while to do it. And I'll honor that, by the way, forever, as long as you stay with me. You know I've done that before. I've honored really good prices for up to 8 or 9 years. You know I'll do that. And so I'm going to make that possible for you. This is just going to be reward people who understand maybe how uncomfortable I feel doing this, and yet the necessity of it, and want to support me in this. And I think maybe get excited by the fact that we're actually going to change the focus back to a good place. It's not been at a bad place, but we're taking it to a better place. So that's coming up. Is a commercial-free Daily Foods Premium. I'll make my decision. I'll probably let you know next week when we're going to do this, and we'll start taking it and transitioning to the new place. So let me wrap it up by saying this. Your life is completely made up by the decisions that you make. And wherever you are today in your world, it doesn't really matter if it's bad or it's good. You can change the entire direction of your life by one decision if you're willing to make it. It may take some time, but the sooner you get there, the sooner you'll get where you want to be. That's all I did today. So thank you. We'll get back to a regular podcast tomorrow. I've got to go. I actually wrote it. I've got it ready to go. The Daily Nugget is on pause right now, making a decision about what I want to do with that. Frankly, I've been cranking out an email to thousands of people, and the return on investment of that email, in other words, people love the email, but nobody's clicking on the links to come do business with us. That just has not been there. So while I appreciate doing it, I love helping people. Same thing. If the return's not going to be there, we have to make a change, and the change is being made. So I'll let you know when that gets going in. We'll decide what to do with it. Thank you for your time. I hope you understand. If you have any questions, any comments, if you want to tell me off and put me in my place, that's fine too. You can send a note to support@motivationtomove.com. If you would like to just support me in my decision that I'm making, I'd really love to hear from you, because I am going to get the crap beat out of me. I promise you. That's okay. I'm ready to take it.